Okay, so in the last video we wrote a class to handle reading the file and returning values for us. So now we can use this byte class to read bytes from the file, and such as reading the vertices and the faces, and then we're going to write them to a file that we're going to be able to open into in Blender. So we're going to be saving it to a OBJ format, which I showed earlier. So where's here? We're going to format it like this. We're going to print an object, print the vertices in the object, and the face. Very simple. All right, we'll do that. We'll do that next. Okay. So where is? I have so many tabs. My desktop's ridiculous. Okay. So right now we've loaded our file. It's important that when you're working through that you put comments down for yourself so you don't get confused. Comments in C++, I think, are double slashes. Yes, backward slashes. Other languages, they usually hashtags. But there's slashes, I'm pretty sure, in C++. Okay, so we're gonna open a file. So I'm gonna write that down in here. Open file. We want to check to see if the file is open. So we're gonna do this. So check file is open. So if f dot is good, let's do it this way instead. So if it is not good, so an exclamation mark stands for not. So if it is not good, then we want to return immediately. So what this line is saying is return your value. When you return a value, it stops the execution, and it's the same thing as exiting the function. Okay. So if the file failed to open, then you just straight exit, you're done. Okay. Now if it was good, then it's never going to run this. Okay. And then it'll just continue to go down. Alright, so we're just going to grab the in our file this position. I think this is the, what is this? Yeah, I think that's the vertex buffer. This is the face buffer. So we want to grab this address here. So this is showing as 1D8. So I'm just going to key this in. So 1D8 goes to that position, and we're going to store that value. So this is going to be our vertex buffer size. You want to be very descriptive with your variables when possible. Get rid of this, and we'll store as well the face or index buffer. So we have our vertex buffer and our index buffer size. Okay, we can then calculate the count, I guess. So we're going to say vertex buffer stride is 48, and that's a constant. So that means we're just setting it, we're just picking that up, and we're just putting that in there. Okay, so buffer stride is going to be 2. And then we can do our counts. So int vertex count is going to be the vertex buffer divided by the stride. Okay, and then the same thing. So we have the index count is going to be the index buffer divided by the stride. So we're going to here, we're going to read the buffer info. We are then going to calculate the count from sizes, or buffer info. Okay, and now we're going to read the buffer. Okay. Oh boy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to travel to the vertex position. So where's my hex editor here? So we're going to have to figure this out. So it looks like probably around here. It was where this starts. Another way is to go at the bottom where you see the faces start and then leap back up. But it looks like it starts around here, which is 29C. And I think I seen that in here somewhere. Let me think. Maybe not. Okay, so we're just going to set our cursor here to 29C. Okay, 29C. And now we're ready to read the buffers. Now we're going to, we can do this a couple ways. We can store it to an array, right? And then we can do something with it. Or we can just print it out as we're doing things right now. So because you have to manage your memory in C++, it's more ideal for us just to write that directly rather than dealing with the array. Okay, so what we'll do is we just look for a code snippet for, what is it, OF stream? OF stream. I'm just looking at this site here and looking at like an example that they provide on open should work. So it should give us an example here that we can just copy, and we can use this as a template here. Okay, so down here we're going to start to write our file. So we're going to write the obj. Okay, so we have to define the output file. So I'll just call this out. They have this on a separate line, that's fine. You can also do it inline like this, or is it like this? I can't remember. One of the two. It doesn't matter, we'll have it separate. So we have out, it's going to open, and then our file. Okay. We want to probably just grab it from here. So I'm gonna, oh yeah, wait, that's okay. We'll just, I don't want to get into too many functions that get off topic, so we'll just input this directly into here. Okay. Because we're going to get a little bit overboard here on the coding, so I don't want to do that. So we're going to put our file in here, okay, and it's just already has the appropriate, what does app do? It stands for append. We don't want append, so I'm going to take that out. For sure we don't want that. Okay, so we're just going to write a text file. That's why I just left stream out. That should be for text. So now we're just going to run this command, which will send text to out. Okay, and that's our text file. I then call the text file our obj, and then down here when we're done with it we close it. Okay, very simple. And so we just use this to just write stuff to the screen. So the first thing we need to do is set O, and that's just going to be our mesh object. Okay. And then this is a new line character, so it's just a slash and an N. If you don't want to do that, then you would just send the end line command. Okay. So that's going to start our object. I'm going to add two enters to it, or two new lines to it, and then we're going to start writing out the vertices. Okay. So we'll just copy this again. We're going to go into a loop. So for a loop, or what a loop is basically it's going to repeat an operation within an encapsulation. So we're going to start this. So we're going to go say for, and then we're going to have our condition in here, and then the operation that we're going to run inside the bracket. So we're going to paste this in here. So this means that based on our condition, this operation is going to repeat over and over and over and over and over again. So now we need to set the condition. So the condition is going to be, that's going to be for the count. So from I equals 0, so I is going to represent the number 0. I is less than the count, so up here we have the vertex count. Then it's going to keep looping. And then we're going to increment I each time the loop completes. Okay. That should do it. So now in here we're going to type in V, and we want to put in the values. So just go like this. And I think there's spaces in between them, so we're going to have a value in here. So there's going to be a placeholder here, and then it's going to be just one of these, and it's going to be a space. And then we're going to keep repeating. So we can take this off here, and we can just repeat this. So actually, I'll go like this. So it's going to be value. And this is going to be a space, value, the last value, and then this is going to be end line here. Alright, so V space, value, space, value, space, value, and then we end the line here. Okay. So yeah, so we can just substitute these in now. So we're going to be using our file, or F, sorry, and we're going to be reading a float point. Okay, so that's our float point, and we just paste these into here. Okay, and now we're going to make a new line. So I'm just going to go like this. So that makes a new line, and now we're doing the faces. So it's the same thing, except it's the index count. Okay, and then inside here, it's not a float 32, it's a short. So it's a 16 int 16, and it's just the same thing, but we're using F instead. So yeah, and that should work. Okay, and so now we're going to run it, and it says return 0, so that means it completed it without crashing. So you can hit continue, but the file isn't shown there because it's written to this file, so we need to navigate to that directory, and I don't know where that directory went. There it is. Okay, so here's our directory. I'm going to open it up in Notepad++. Okay, what? Okay, let's go back and have a look at that. So that could mean, let me think here. I equals 0, I less than count, so these could be 0, I guess. Let's try to debug this. So we're going to print this to the screen and see what value it spits out. So cout, and we'll just put this in here. Alright, and then bam. Let's see what we get. So I get 0, so that's wrong. So we need to kind of figure out what happened here so we get the proper counts. So let's go back up here, and I'm going to test out the sizes first to see if I got the right sizes. Okay, and we'll run that. And so I got a size of 0, so that's probably the reason why. So let's check out where I am in the file. So let's go back to our hex editor here, and we'll just compare it with what's here. So we have 1d8. So I'm going to use goto 1d8. Oh, it must be already there then. So I'm here. So that should have been correct. This is the right spot. Let me just check here. What? Maybe I opened up in a different file or something. Alright, so this is csec wheel, yes. If not good, then return. So it should cut out. So that means we got here. We should be seeked there. Let me check my function here. So we take files from here, create an input, output, and then seek. What is seek doing? So our macros defined up here. So directories absolute. It's supposed to set us to this offset. So I created bytes f here. F is here. Should be reading the values, which is pretty nuts. Okay. I just want to write a print up here and see if it actually gives me a value. So this is our first value. Pop that in there and see if we get that first value. So that doesn't make any sense. That's a float point. Okay, that's absolutely right. So I'm reading these as the wrong type. That's totally on me. I am tired and I'm making silly mistakes. So we want to read an integer and not a float point. So this is not right. So it needs to be this, read integer 32. Now we should get the proper count. The math for calculating the size should be correctly calculated, and then it should come down here and write that correctly. So now we're going to run that again. Alright, so now we got the counts here that were printed. Obviously they're fine now, and we click OK, and what we're going to do now is check the file. It said that the file got modified. Do you want to reload it? Yes, and it's going to load in here. Alright, so now we have our vertices in here. We have negatives though, that's wrong. So we need to go look at that, okay. But otherwise it's doing pretty good, yeah, I gotta say. The negative values are strange because the first values that get read are actually 0 and 1. So these should actually be 0, 1, and 2. So there's still some problems we have to deal with. Also there's this, which is that the precision is going into an exponent, which we don't want. So we have to format this. So let me just check online for that. Oh boy. Okay, set precision is a part of the IO manip. I don't know. Alright, so put that up here. So we need to include this library, and this is going to give us, well, I'll just show you here. This will give us set precision, where we can set the position of the number value. So like this. Okay, so we're gonna set the precision. So tongue-tied. I think usually precision for OBJ is set for 6. So in this example file, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Indeed, it is 6. So I'm just gonna copy that, and we'll see here. Is there any requirements? No. Okay. So we just include that, and then down here we should be able to set the precision. I think behind the number, and we set this for 6. Okay, just put that there, and just run that again. Yep. Okay, so maybe that was supposed to be in front of the number. Oh, I need that one. Okay, hold up. We have our number F. It comes in front of the number, goes into our output. This is mean by fixed. This function should only be used as a string manipulator. Yeah, that's what we're using it for. Set precision goes first. Yep. So what does that mean? Does that mean it has to go first? Let's see in this one here. No. Well, that one looks right. So what the? Oh. Okay, yeah, it does have to go first. Okay. So I'm just gonna copy that out. Different there. And now it should probably do it. So let's look at that. Yep. No. So we still have the first vertex, that looks fine, and the rest of them kind of fall apart. Yep. Oh, I know why. So this is right, but I still don't understand why my precision is not working. But it looks like this is right. So we have the 6 digits, but I don't know what happens. It falls apart here for some reason. I think this is because I forgot to seek to the next entry. So that's probably also why the faces are screwed up. So that's probably because I'm tired. You really shouldn't be doing coding or any kind of this stuff when you're tired. Okay, so we need to remember that there's a stride from one vertex entry to the next, and it's 48. So we've consumed 12 of the 48. So what's left over from that? 20, 24 or something like that? Let's just see. So that's 48 minus 12. So 36. Holy crap. Okay, so 36. So we need to move 36 past. So we're going to set this for seek current or relative in this case. And so this is going to skip to the next vertex entry and then print a proper value for us. That's probably also why the faces weren't working, so this will probably fix both problems. So yeah, let's check here. Okay, and now it's working a lot better now. Okay, so we get this is all cleaned up now. So we have these numbers look correct now. They're nice and clean. We have lots of vertices, and then we have the faces. Okay, so I now should be able to open it up in Blender here. So I'll just delete this guy, and we'll import the OBJ. I'll go to this directory, and we'll import that guy. And I got a flash error, so I got to do that again. And that's one thing I don't like about Blender is it throws these errors. Okay, so it says that the index is out of range. Basically, is what it's saying there. Okay, so the index out of range is basically one of these faces is making a call for a number that doesn't exist, and well, this is exactly why. So right down here, it looks like we've gone way past the buffer. So that means that I'm not getting the proper count. So that's probably because I didn't check out the buffer that well, and I just kind of just did the division and just assumed it was the same as the vertex buffer. Probably because there's 3 faces in there, I probably have to divide this by 3 again to get that count. So we'll just try that again. And so we'll go back over here, and then, yeah, so I can see that the faces are now looking proper. So now we're going to go back into Blender, and I'll do that again. So there we go. Ugh, okay. Import OBJ, open. Okay, so now it's saying executed split mesh, add vertex. List index is still at a range. Really? Okay. Okay. So this is saying that it's looking for this vertex. So if we look at the line items here, it's starting at 3. So I guess I can also just delete this for a second. And so these are lined up now. So if I check at the bottom, the maximum value I have is 234. Yeah. And then this is double that. So it could be that I got the vertex stride incorrect when I was checking the file. So we're just going to double check. So I'm going to go back to my file, go back to the vertex buffer, and then set it to 48. And we're going to see if that looks right or not. So this looks right, but maybe I read it wrong, because it almost looks like this is 2 entries inside of here. So let's divide this in half and go 24. Yeah, so it looks like it also works as a 24. So that probably makes more sense for the vertices. So let's change this to 24, and we'll run that again. Now I should have did this instead. So this minus 12. Okay, and I think we got it after all that. Okay, so faces are still the same. The faces look great, but now we're getting more vertex data there, and now we can try to import that in. Hopefully it works. Alright, import this. Okay, same thing, list at a range. It really sucks because it doesn't even import it at all, so we have to keep debugging, which is insane. So this is going up to 470, so minus 3 would be 467. Honestly, it looks like it's fine. Oh, wait, did I forget something? No, I got that. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me just try real quick with the 3ds Max importer and see what kind of error we get for that. It's loading. Wow. Alright, let me just try it. Let me just see what the error was in this thing one more time. Okay, so it says, yeah, this is the same thing. It says list index at a range. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Invalid. Vertex index. One of the vertex indices is invalid. What? Well, if I had a negative, maybe? Can maybe understand it. What it goes right to 167. Maybe this one is too much. So why would I be missing a vertex entry? We'll just try to delete this one row here, and we'll save that, and then we'll rerun it again on Blender. Import obj out of range split mesh. Boy. It's index error. So, okay, let's just cut this up a little bit further up, see what that does. And we'll import that in. Really? So I still get an index error. That is crazy. So what the heck does that mean? Let's go back to here. So it almost seems like it's not importing the vertex data. That's the feeling I'm getting. So let me just take all the faces out, all of them, and then we'll save. And I will import with the 3ds Max one because that one gives a little more information. Invalid vertex index. Okay, that tells me that I probably have something wrong with the format. Yes, let me just check over here. So it's v space this space this f space this space space. Okay. looks fine. I don't get it. Unless one of these numbers is not a number. Like, okay, so let's just do this. Let's do a little more control test here. So the first three, save, and then we're gonna go into Blender, import obj, same problem. List index out of range, but my list indexes are fine. All right, let's go to the W key of the wavefront object. And we're going to the Wikipedia, and hopefully it explains the format, and I can see what I did wrong. So these are valid expressions. That's a valid vertex. So we have, what is our fourth W? It's optional, defaults to 1. Your faces look like that, yeah. Don't know. That's weird. Any object file may contain vertex data, blah, 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 blah. Index, yeah, vertex 1, vertex 2, vertex 3. Matches corresponding vertex elements. Da, da, da. Alright, so we have 0, 1, and 2. This has to be positive. I'm guessing. Yeah? Yes? Okay, is that it? Is that what happened? That's what happened. There it is. Okay. So what we need to do, which is annoying, is we have to add a 1 to these numbers. And that's why it wasn't working. So now it's going to be starting from not a 0 but a 1. And that's probably why the whole thing wasn't working. Which is ridiculous. Okay. Imports that import. There we go. It's a wheel. Yay. Alright, so this is inverted obviously. What we need to do is either invert the vertices or invert the faces. So let's just start with inverting the faces. So to invert the faces, we just have to swap the component, or we just make this a negative. So let's do that one because that sounds easier. And so, oh, I want to go up into Blender. I can delete this wheel. And there we go. We have a wheel that is not inverted. Okay. Usually you don't flip the vertex, but that was just to show that, because I know this video is going really long, so that's just to show how you could flip it really easy. If you want to flip this, you actually have to rearrange this. So I have to assign these 3 to a variable, and then I would have to go not 1, 2, 3, but 1, 3, 2 to reverse the winding, and that will flip it around. But I just don't want to do it in here because that's going to consume more time. Okay, thank you for watching. That's how I wrote the script in there. I'm sorry, I just did it live there, so a lot of little mishaps, confusions, and stuff like that. But you know, that's just the way it is, and you have to learn how to problem solve just by, you know, rechecking what you did, going online and checking some basic documentation and trying to solve your problem. For me, it was a really stupid problem. Most of it probably just because I'm tired, but that's the way it is. I mean, a silly mistake can really throw you off like that. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.